Hello, everybody. Whether you are joining us tonight or on the recording, we are super excited that you are giving us your time for the next 30 minutes to learn more about this incredible company and this incredible opportunity from this incredible person. I am not me. I'm talking about Lisa, the speaker that you'll hear from tonight. My name is Kelly Godwin. I'm an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus, and I have the honor of getting to talk to Lisa and ask her some questions tonight. Lisa is an amazing person and also a nurse, and just has a really great and different perspective on this business and how she has worked it, still working full time. And I just can't wait for y'all to hear from her. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, Lisa, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the meat of everything.
Hello, thank you. Wow, it's hard to follow that introduction. Hope I can live up to it. So I'm Lisa, and I've been with Plexus for about 6 years. And as Clay said, I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 21 years. And actually, I was able to come off of full time when my doctor, when he does surgeries or if he's off, I'm able to be off. So before, I don't get into that a little bit more of how, but I don't have to work full time anymore. 4 days a week still, but not 100% full time. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But yeah, so I have 2 kids, 17 and 10, and husband, and live in Montgomery. We've been here for about 17 years. Moved here from the Atlanta area, Fayette County area, Kennesaw area. So
awesome. Okay, well, let's go ahead and just get into the meat of things. I would like for you just to tell everybody, because even though you've now moved to not technically full time, you did work your business even when you were full time, and I'd love for them to hear more about that, because that's the situation for most people. The statistic says that 87% of people that work a social selling business work a full time job. And a lot of times people think, well, time is something I don't have, so I can't do it. But I'd like to hear, how did you get started with Plexus? Like, what made you interested? I'm sure it's always been a joke for my team. It's like nurses can be like the worst because they know all the ingredients, or like I'll have all the questions, and like can be the biggest critics sometimes. So I'm interested to hear your perspective specifically as a nurse, and then also like what made you want to get interested in the business too. If you could just walk us through that.
Okay, so the first thing that got me interested definitely was not the business, because I had gone to school and gotten my degree. I went ahead and just went all the way through and got my bachelor's, as far as a degree in nursing to get the bachelor's. And so I was done with schooling, and I was happy with the degree that I had, but I'd also spent a lot of money, time, and effort and energy. As an attorney, you get that degree and it's hard to just give that up. So that's just what I was doing. Is I was a nurse, that's how I defined myself. So I was not looking for another job, but I was so miserable with my health. And anybody that's ever heard any part of my testimony, my health testimony, knows how miserable I was with my IBS, my gluten and lactose intolerance, my chronic sinus infections. I was taking steroid shots and oral antibiotics, oral steroids, antibiotic shots. I was taking all the things to help me. And I wouldn't even define it as staying well. I was just trying. I wasn't well. I was just trying to make it. As a mom and a nurse and, a wife. So I couldn't sleep, and I didn't have any energy, and just all the things. And none of my colleagues, my coworkers, the doctors that I work for, no one ever said, hey, why don't you look into getting to the root of your issues? But no, I had 2 sinus surgeries and 2 upper GIs and 2 colonoscopies. This was all in like my 20s and early 30s. So that's kind of young to have all those medical issues, but no one threw up any red flags and said, hey, this isn't normal. So a friend of mine was posting about gut health, and I trusted her. And I said, well, I'll give it a try. It's probably not going to work, because I have access to all kinds of prescription meds, and I have access to free samples, and, I have all this over here. Why would I want to go this way? And I really did turn my nose up at it because we weren't taught about getting to the root of health issues. We just weren't in nursing school or in my practice now.
And I think
So
that's what I was getting at with, like, because nurses are so educated, and it's like, but y'all tend to be more educated. And I have family members still to this day that still question Plexus because you're educated on the pharmaceutical side, but not, and that's like putting the Band-Aid on the problem rather than getting to the root of the problem.
that's exactly
So,
right.
it's incredible that you actually took a chance when that wasn't probably the popular thing to do.
It wasn't. And people still make fun of me. People still roll their eyes as far as, I can't believe you're doing that. I'm not crunchy by any means, but, I still have a lot of people that their only go-to are pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
I mean, we were trained in big pharma. So.
Yeah. So tell me about, like, what made you, so you didn't start for the business. What made you decide to start sharing, and like, what did that look like for you?
So I love the fact that for me and for a lot of others, sharing was very organic. I was not looking to replace my nursing job. It was just organic. And I just thought, well, I mean, why wouldn't I share? Because every conversation I seem to have with anybody on any level, they always complain about some kind of health ailment, And so I was so excited after 5 weeks of being on, I was on Triplex and X Factor. And in the beginning, and I was just blown away by how much better I felt. And I just said, well, I share about my favorite lipstick. I share about, earrings. Why wouldn't I share about this? And so it's very organic and everyone was very interested. And that's just kind of how it started. So as far as the business side of it goes.
When did you catch the vision for the possibilities beyond just like casually sharing?
Really, I'm probably around the second month. So the first month, just taking the products and enjoying it. And the second month I started sharing. So I got a paycheck after that second month and it covered my products. And I thought, and then some. And I thought, well, that's, my whole family needs to be on these products. So, let me share a little more. Let me invest a little more in these people that are, signing up. And so paid for their products, or excuse me, my family's products. And then it paid for my mortgage. And then, so just, I said, well, I need to really be consistent with sharing, and I have.
Go. Tell me what is the most rewarding and fun thing about working for yourself? I mean, I know that you've been able to take somewhat of a step back at work and have so, like, a little bit more about, like, what is the most rewarding part for you?
So yes, I have been able to, I don't have to be at work and get paid if my doctor's not there. So if he's not physically there, I don't have to show up anymore. If he's there half a day, I can be there half a day. And that has been really great because, I've been able to go to more of my kids' things. I've been able to really just not feel like I'm just punching a clock constantly. I feel a lot less torn between family and career, definitely more flexible as far as the business side goes. And it's just fun to do, to share. And honestly, for nurses, I think that this is a really easy transition because it's still about healthcare. So I don't feel like I'm having to choose between helping people with their health and helping people with their health. I'm able to still do both.
Tell us about, like, how do you do that? How do you do that, like, in your everyday life? Like, how do you transition that way?
As far as working the business?
Yeah. Like, what does that look like for you?
So really, so I don't talk about Plexus with my patients. I don't promote, Plexus with my patients. I just see my patients for they're there to see me for. But some patients I kind of get a relationship with, and I've been at the office where I'm at for right now for 13 years. And so you get to know your patients, and some become friends, and you hang out, and they get to trust you. And so they'll come to me and say, I trust you, you're my nurse. And so I'm able to continue that conversation, on social media or, privately, meeting for coffee or something like that. But as far as working my business, I really thought, well, I just can't work my business and, be a full-time nurse, because I was a full-time nurse and working Plexus for a long time. And, but it's all about priorities. So I would prioritize, I get an hour for lunch. And so instead of taking a nap in my car, which I used to do on my hour-long break, I would take a nap. I would devote 30 minutes to just following up with people or reaching out or posting. I would get up a little bit earlier in the morning before I needed to get the kids off to school and, me go to work. I would stay up a little bit later at night or not watch TV, for an hour. You don't have to devote your whole life to sharing about this business. But if you can, you don't have to share all day, but you need to share some every day, share something, add value to people. So that was a really easy transition, as long as I made that a priority. 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 30 minutes here. I never had a set schedule.
Yeah. How long did it take for your family to really buy into this?
Really?
Definitely.
It took, do what?
It was a different track than, like they're used to you probably just trucking along as a nurse. And how long did it take for your family to become invested in this process?
So really, the first paycheck that I got, and really my kids, they saw how thankful my husband and I were for this extra income. And they really never balked at it. Now my husband did in the beginning because I was on my phone a lot. And so I had to learn, it was trial and error for me. I had to learn how to prioritize my time with work, with Plexus, and with family. It completely can be done, but I was so excited. I just wanted to be on my phone all the time and sharing and learning new things and training myself. But so I had to find a common ground with my husband with that, which is understandable. And, respectfully, I had to do that. And that's just the right thing to do. But when he saw that first paycheck, he was like, there's something to this. And at the time, my husband was working 3 jobs. So it really has taken a lot of pressure off of him. And he's very thankful for that because he was really spread thin with those 3 jobs.
Hey, Hawaii probably helped him become more invested too, right?
Yes, it did. He was all about Hawaii. It was so much fun.
Tell me, what tip would you have for someone that's interested but really doesn't know how to start, or maybe has some objections? We all had them at one point. So like, what would you say to them?
So there's 2 different aspects that I would address. The first is cost. Some people don't want to even try the products because of cost, and we wouldn't have a business without the products. So you really should be a believer in the products. And I would say that for most of us and most of our friends circle, yes, there are people that are on, government assistance, and they are truly cannot afford another penny. For most of us, that is not the majority of our circle base, friend base. So I would say to those people that can't afford it, I would say, well, what are your priorities as far as, do you truly want to feel better? Because those are the same people that are, buying the dietary Dr. Peppers, which is what I was doing, and the very expensive, Starbucks coffees every day. That's $5 or $6 a day. Back when the movie theaters were open, spending all that money to go to a movie theater. There's nothing wrong with having fun and spending time with your family or going on a date night. But when you say that you do those things habitually without even blinking, but yet you say you can't invest in your health, people that get sick and that are chronically sick and that need surgeries and that need long-term care, those people have to stop what they're doing, and they have to find the time and they have to find the money to then address whatever sickness that has come about. So I would say, let's look at budget, what things can you swap out, just for a month, because after a month or 2 of being on the products consistently, I told my husband, I said, we will do whatever it takes to afford these products, because I realized I couldn't be without them. So I would say give it at least 60 days because you have a 60-day money back guarantee anyway. So give it at least that consistently. But as far as objections towards the business, even though my husband was working 3 jobs and we both had college degrees and good degrees, and we were working full time, kids are expensive and life happens and the roof needs, repair, and, the hot water heater goes out, and, you keep putting things on charge, and debt keeps piling up. So I would say it's always a great idea to have an extra stream of income, whatever that is. But if whatever you're doing isn't working for you, then to stay in that cycle is insanity, because you're doing the same thing and expecting different results. So, money's not everything. However, it definitely can take a lot of stress off your marriage and off you being able to give more at church, and um, uh, being able to be a less stressful parent when your kids ask you, can I do this? Can I go there? Can I join this club? To be able to do more things like that really takes the stress off. So I would just say, like me, I was very judgy of people that were in network marketing, judged really bad. However, if you find a company that has integrity and that does it right, it doesn't feel icky at all when you find the right company, find the right people.
Awesome. Speaking of which, I'd like to hear like what is your favorite thing about Plexus, like the company? Because people have a lot of different, social selling companies they could go with. What is it that really attracted you either before, like when you were first starting to work, or like what has that grown into now? Like what is the thing you value most about Plexus as a company?
The first thing that comes to mind is leadership, and leadership with integrity, because you can lead a company in two different ways. You can lead a company with not high morals and high standards, or you can lead a company with integrity and with the motto that our president and CEO has is, if you're blessed, be a blessing. And so I love the fact that it's not all about us. It's about how we can add value to others, whether it's through finances, whether it's through relationships, or whether it's through health, and hopefully all three. So I love the fact that this company is not about us, but it's a platform that they've always encouraged us to use to be able to help other people, to be able to finance adoptions, to be able to help pay for someone else's mortgage whenever they're having a downtime, whenever we're able to give extra at Christmas time, all through the year for sure, but to missions and things like that. So a lot of people have a lot of passions that they wish they could pursue, but money does present a huge obstacle for a lot of people. So they feel like they can't give to those things that they're so passionate about. And this is a great platform to do that.
I love that. Yeah, I love how they always talk about this as a legacy company, and legacy means it's more than just about us. And I love that. Like we're creating something that can not only be passed down to our children, but like help other people do the same thing and give more. And I mean, that is just, it's like mind blowing to me. I was able to have years ago when I won Silver Star, I had dinner with we had dinner with Alec, and he talked, one of the first things, I had just hit Emerald, and he asked me, he was like, talk to me about like what you're saving, and talk to me about what you're giving, like be sure that those are the priorities for your family, like now that you've come in, like you've made this money so fast. And he was like, make sure that you're giving back, and like you're setting that aside to give back. And that took it to a whole other level for me, because like that showed the heart of the company right there, because leadership trickles down from the top for sure. How does, before we start to wrap up, like how does you sharing Plexus bless your family specifically? We've talked about a little bit about that. Like you mentioned a bunch of different general ways, but talk to me about some specific ways that your family has been blessed by Plexus.
I mean, there are a lot of different ways, and I have mentioned some, you're right. But I think for my kids, I'm not about spoiling my kids, or me or my husband. It's not about spoiling. But that being said, there's something to be said for being able to, because I mean, and this is something that is possibly for some materialistic, but we couldn't get my son braces. He's 17 now. So years ago, we couldn't afford to get my son braces because it's very expensive to do. I mean, that's an extra, $550 a month that we didn't know what was going to come from. And so we actually had to postpone my son getting braces. Sorry.
Oh,
So as mom, you never want your kids to, I never want to encourage him to be vain or materialistic as far as having things, but to be vain as far as his appearance. But getting braces was a big It was a big thing for him, and for his confidence. And, he never complained. He really wanted him. But when we told him, but we're going to have to just wait a little bit. We told the orthodontist, we'll get back to you, And so, cause we did all the consults and everything. And so, anyway, that really bothered me. And so I said, I would need to do something. And so all that being said, Plexus then came into our lives, and, on a lot of different fronts, it helped us. Not just the fact that we were able to finally get my son braces. Now he's out. Now my daughter's in braces. And so, kids can be cruel, and we're all about, teaching our kids, life's hard, and kids are mean, and grownups are mean. And this is how you need to deal with it. And you need to have confidence within yourself, and you need to be humbled, and, humble yourself before the Lord. And, but I hate to use the word, but, although there, I think, needs to be a balance between, how long that we need to ask our kids to be so humble and so wise beyond their years, to be able to have to deal with something that they don't have to deal with if we just had some extra financial means. And so the Lord is so gracious. And so Plexus really did come at the right time for lots of different reasons, financially, but also the Lord knew that I needed this community. I never was in a sorority in college. And so this is the best comparison I have to a sorority. We love each other. And there's men, obviously, in this company too. But I love my sisters in Plexus, and we encourage each other. That has been a huge blessing for me, because I hope that my husband and my children have been able to see me thrive in that arena, as far as continually doing self-improvement, to do self-development, to do leadership development, to learn not only how to be, a better, whatever I am in Plexus, whatever rank you are in Plexus, more importantly than that, how are you adding value to your team? How are you allowing the Lord to use you as, someone who's able to shine a light, hopefully, and some positivity, because there's a lot of people that need that. And I need that every day, to be reminded of that. And so hopefully that's trickling down to my family. And they see me trying to improve myself and to better myself and to stay consistent with something. And I don't know that I would have done this without Plexus, and without the leadership that we have, and without the teams that we have, and all rallying around each other and wanting us to be the best versions of ourselves. That sounds like a Hallmark card, but I feel like it's true. And so I really feel like my family sees that. And hopefully it'll help, especially my kids, encourage them to want to do the same.
That's awesome, Lisa. That's a story. I feel like you're such a reflection of a mother's heart, because yes, you're not encouraging your children to be vain, but you do want to set your children up to be the most confident versions of themselves, and have, to be able to overcome those little things that they can't control, that you can help them do that. That's a tearjerker. I'm telling you, my heart just was pounding so hard, because I was like, that every mama can feel that. We want to be able to do whatever we can to just set our children up to be the most confident and successful versions of themselves, and to not have to worry about something like their teeth that's out of their control. I just think that's incredible. I mean, that is what we all want to a certain extent. And then to be able to see, to have your kids look at you and see going after something that is life-giving, not only for you as a woman, but for your family. I think that is it's just a good reminder. It's a good reminder for me. I love hearing your story, and I love hearing your heart. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
I just appreciate you.
Well, I wanted to add something.
And for everybody else.
Do what?
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just wanting to add that as far as being along the lines of hopefully what I'm able to share with my kids, and my husband, of course, too, but my kids, is they see that even though as a nurse, that this is what I was trained to do and what I went to school to do. And it's more of a 9 to 5 within the box type of remedy for a career, and to be able to help people. I love that this being network marketing, it's so outside of the box for a lot of people, and it comes with a lot of stigma. And so I love that my kids are able to see that even though they may go against the flow, if they feel passionate enough about something and that it's the right thing to do, and that's where the Lord is leading them, I love that and I would like to think that, I don't know, maybe that just would have been their personality anyway, and the confidence that they had. But I would like them to always know that even if something goes a little bit against the flow of what society says is normal, if you feel the Lord leading you to do that, and it's tugging on your heart to do it, and even if it doesn't make sense, because it surely didn't make sense to me in the beginning, and sometimes, I have to remind people on my team or potentials, it doesn't have to make sense. If it's what the Lord is really leading you to do, and you just can't get it off of your mind and your heart, maybe you should pursue it, because the Lord doesn't need me to be a nurse for him to work through me. He doesn't need me to do Plexus. I feel like he's brought Plexus and nursing into my life for him to be able to use, hopefully, me to bring some good. So I really had to step back and say, yes, network marketing, people make fun of it, and people make fun of lots of different things, but I really felt led to do that. And so, and I still feel led to do that. So I really had to step back and say, Lord, you're going to use me wherever you want to. So if this is where you want to use me, then, I know that he's big enough to do that. And so I hope that my kids can see that and continue to remember that as they get older.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. And everybody, either if you join us tonight or you're joining us with the recording, thank y'all for your time. We recognize that is an investment, and you have blessed us with 30 minutes of your night. That's a huge deal, especially around this time of night. So thank you. Thank you, Lisa, again. We hope that if I know that her story has touched those of you that are listening. And if you have any questions about the opportunity, about the products, please reach out to the person that invited you. You have a whole team of people, thousands of people that are here waiting to cheer you on in your new adventure of trying these products or trying this business. Either way, the world is your oyster, and you have blessings that await you ahead. So again, thank y'all for your time. Thank you, Lisa, and I hope everybody has an awesome night.
Bye.